And it was discouraging to think that the teaching of the gospel did not bring fruit everywhere. There were only some that had the good heart, and that the seed would bring forth fruit unto perfection. So that was a kind of discouraging thing. And then the next parable, in Matthew chapter 13, was about the farmer who had a field, and his plants came up, and an enemy went out and purposely put weeds in the field. And the weeds were competing with the harvest, the crop, and they were crowding, pushing the crop that the farmer had planted. And the kingdom of heaven is like that the devil is out there. He is purposely causing bad things to happen and pushing against God's kingdom and trying to choke it and trying to destroy it. So Jesus had told the parable of the sower. He had told the parable of the wheat and the tares. And the disciples may have been somewhat discouraged. They may have been somewhat discouraged that the kingdom of heaven was going to have problems, that it had enemies. There were enemies that were trying to destroy it. There were enemies causing hardness of the heart, would come and take away the seed. And this was discouraging to the disciples. They were only a small band of disciples, and they were in a sea of people that everybody was not going to listen. So Jesus told these two parables, the parable of the leaven and the parable of the mustard seed, in order to be encouraging. This tiny little seed, tiny little mustard seed, if you plant it, over time it grows into a very large plant. 5 meters tall. Very, very tall, taller than this building. And it would be from a tiny little beginning. So Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is like this mustard seed. The mustard seed was used frequently to describe anything that was small in its beginnings. In Matthew chapter 17 and verse 20, Jesus said unto them, because of your unbelief I have said this, and verily I say unto you, if you have faith as a grain of mustard seed, you shall say unto this mountain, remove from here to another place, and it shall remove, and nothing shall be impossible to you. So if you take this little tiny grain of mustard seed, and if I had faith like this mustard seed, I could say to that mountain, move, get out of the way, I don't want you there, move into the sea. And if I had as much faith as a mustard seed, then it would happen. But most of us don't have that much faith. Jesus would frequently say to his disciples, O ye of little faith. And we're like that many times. We don't have the faith of a mustard seed, but God built into the mustard seed the faith that it has. In the mustard seed, faith does not come by hearing, does it? In the mustard seed, the faith is built in. God designed it to have faith. And this plant just doesn't worry about obstacles. It just keeps growing. And it shows that big things can happen from very small beginnings. The kingdom of heaven is like that. The kingdom of heaven started out with a man from a village in a despised province who was a poor man. His father was dead, and he had to go to work at a young age. And suddenly, he quit his job, and he started preaching. And he would go out and didn't even have a place to sleep. He might end up camping by the side of the road. He didn't know where his food was coming from. It was up to God to provide for him. So he had faith as this grain of mustard seed. He started out from this very small beginning that he had nothing. And in fact, his family thought he was crazy. What is he doing? We know this guy. He lived with us. He ate with us. He was our big brother. And now he used to make cabinets and chairs and furniture and build houses. gone out and he's gone crazy and says he's a prophet and he's preaching every day and teaching and he's not doing carpenter work anymore. We think he's crazy. And so they came to get him. We think he's gone crazy. And they came to where he was preaching and a message came to him. There were so many people listening that the family couldn't get to him. And they sent a message and they said, your family's outside, they want to talk to you. And he said, who is my family? Who is my mother, my brother, my sister? And the disciples were his mother, his brother, and his sister.